Now, while we've been incredibly lucky to have the opportunity to sea trial F8 for ourselves, there's something else I wanted to show you while we're here. And this is from the archive of the Portsmouth Naval Base Property Trust. And amazingly, these are the original sea trial documents from the prototype for the LCA-2, which F8 is one of. So this is a copy, and as you look very carefully, you can see originally it was confidential, it's restricted access, because this is a copy of the original Navy sea trials. So if I turn the page, look at this, you can see a full index of everything they got up to: speed, seaworthiness, surf performance, manoeuvrability, beaching, unbeaching, engine noise. It's a really comprehensive document. And look at some of the photographs here. I mean, that is a photograph of all the troops actually disembarking from the original L101 prototype. But let me read you some of the remarkable findings from this. It's such an amazing document. It's an absolute goldmine of information. So here are all the technical measurements, and this is where the testing begins. So you can see here's their original performance tests of 1800 RPM. That's the maximum revolutions of the engine back then, and with two engines it was 10.25 knots. So you can see it's pretty similar to what we got today, but look at this. This is the stuff I really like. Now, we were out in fairly tame conditions in the harbour, but these are the comments on surf performance, and they did not hang about. The craft was driven head to sea through a breaking swell of 5 to 6 feet, and by carefully adjusting the speed, no water came aboard. The Trianco engine control system proves particularly valuable in surf conditions, for the revolutions can be adjusted instantly, and the craft lifted over the seas. It was particularly noticeable that even in 6-foot waves, pounding can be avoided if the craft is carefully driven. Now, these Trianco controls, this was the first time they actually had remote control for the engine from the actual Coxswain shelter. In the previous version, you literally had to telegraph the message to some poor soul sitting in the engine room who would then manually adjust the throttle controls of the engines. Really amazing stuff. But there's more fascinating information here. So let's have a look. Oh, I love this. Engine vibration. Above 1200 RPM, vibration of the craft is set up, which intensifies with the increased revolutions, and between 1500 and 1800 RPM causes rattling of many of the fittings around the coxswain shelter, including the anchor lying on deck. It is, however, to be remembered that this craft, the shelter is situated above the propellers, and more vibration is, therefore, to be expected than in LCA-1, where smooth converted car engines are used and the coxswain is forward. I just love the language used. It's so formal, but really is extraordinary what they did. There's another fantastic comment over here. Ramp height and coxswain's view. They did not hold back on this one. The obstruction of the view forward from the coxswain shelter by the high ramp is most dangerous, and it is clear that unless an improvement can be obtained, collisions are bound to occur, and accurate station keeping will be impossible. In order to provide suitable disembarkation conditions for vehicles, the ramp cannot be shorter than at present, but the fact remains that even with the craft stationary, the ramp cuts the horizon, and when at speed, the view forward is completely blocked, the coxswain being unable to see straight ahead a craft as large as an inshore minesweeper. Yeah, they are not kidding. That is problematic. And to be fair, it is something that they have changed on F8. So if we look at some of these original photos, this is the absolutely amazing stuff. So if you look back here, when it was very first tested, the prototype, there was no window in that ramp at all. So it's no wonder they couldn't see anything. Whereas on F8 that we've been in, there is now that folding flap built into that ramp. So you can fold that down and see out. And here are the photographs of it testing in the surf conditions, and look at how big the waves are there. There it is careering over the top of one. Here it is actually surfing on top of one of the waves. And look at this, it's completely engulfed in a massive wave. They really did put it through its paces. And there's more great stuff. So look, here they are, side on to the waves. They wanted to know absolutely what would happen in every condition. And here you can actually see it unloading a gun. So this is a 120mm RCL gun. So that's a little Land Rover pulling it out. Just amazing stuff. It's such an incredible archive. And you can see that, you know, they didn't always get right onto the beach. They were actually driving straight into the sea at times and just wading their way ashore. And look, here are all the troops. That's what I mean when they were all sort of hunkered down, trying to get some kind of shelter. You can see they're keeping their heads low, all tucked in, all 35 of them. And here they are piling out onto the beach. Just an incredible archive. And look, these are these tunnels I'm talking about. Look how deep the tunnels are for the propellers. They are so well tucked under there. And you can see there's actually a recovery hook, so if it does get completely beached, then you can latch it onto that hook and tow the thing along the beach using a big heavy tractor. Just astonishing stuff. So interesting. And look, that is what the original Helm looked like. You can see, so it's very similar. There's the wheel, there are these newfangled Trianco controls and all the actual gauges, and there is the coxswain himself in position, just as I was. And here we go, this is their suggestion for the window in the ramp, and you can see that's a very early suggestion of what it might look like, and that's exactly what they've done, and it makes a world of difference. Just an absolute goldmine of information. While we're here, it's just worth looking at the state that she used to be in. So this is when the repairs were underway. You can see some of the photographs. She was in a right old state. And here she is being completely taken apart. You can see the state of the decay and wood panels. Amazing. So that is a truly astonishing piece of archive material, from those original Navy sea trials to the full restoration. Just fabulous.